Welcome everybody. This is the first RentalMan webinar of 2024. So we're very excited to have you here, those who could join us today. So thank you for joining, spending some time with us today. Really excited to get these going again. If you've been a RentalMan customer for a while, been around Win for a while, we haven't done these for a little bit. So we're very excited as a team to get this started again. I'm excited to have you here. Really looking forward to connecting with you guys as customers or prospects, or if you're joining us and you're not a RentalMan customer, that's great too. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Ryan Helmy. I'm with the communications team here at Win Systems, specifically working with the RentalMan team. So I've been here for about 2-3 years at this point. So I'll be your host today. And we also have a whole set of panelists, RentalMan panelists and RentalMan experts with us today that I'm sure many of you have talked to and recognized. So I'll get to introductions in a little bit, but quick note before we start. We want these webinars. This is our first one that we're doing in 2024, first one we've done in a while, but I just want to let you guys know, we want this to be a collaborative session, right? We want this to be an interactive session. So if you have any questions, any ideas, comments, or things like that throughout the webinar, if you're very confused on a slide that we have or something like that, or just have a question on it, go ahead. There should be a button on your screen there to raise your hand. And then also there's a Q&A, or there's a Q&A at the end, but we also have a chat open and available. It should be available for you guys to just enter a chat. I have somebody on my team here, Robbie Dye. He's with the communications team as well. He'll be keeping an eye on it, on the chat and the hand raising button there. So don't feel shy. Go ahead and press that if you feel necessary. If you want to ask a question, we are more than open to answering questions throughout. We'll also have a Q&A at the end if you'd like to save it for that. So so those are quick notes that I wanted to go over. One other thing is I'll get a poll going here in a little bit, but first let me introduce what we're talking about today, right? So we are going to be chatting about better customer engagement with custom communication, right? And this is specifically for the RentalMan solution suite, specifically RentalMan itself, right? There's a lot of great features that are available. If you guys were at Summit, this is one of the hidden gems that was covered in that session that we had. There were a lot of questions on it, actually. And we wanted to bring it up again today and talk about it in more form because I think it's a very useful tool. The team thinks it's a very useful tool for you guys as customers inside of RentalMan. And I think it's to be a good tool and a topic to talk about. So we'll get into it a little bit today. So before we start on that though, wanted to make some introductions. And while we make some introductions, also wanted to start up a poll. There's about 4 questions in this poll. So let me get this started. Should be available to you guys now. The poll here is just 4 questions on how long you've been using RentalMan. If your company's currently using document distribution, are you using custom emails for better customer communication? And then there's another real quick thing on AI tools like ChatGPT and your experience with that. So we're looking to gauge you guys' familiarity with some of the topics that we're talking about today, because I think we can cater the conversation in the right direction using that. So go ahead and answer those questions. I'll make some quick introductions here while you do that. Today on our webinar here, we have Jim Rosinski. I'm sure many of you know Jim. He's been around Win and the RentalMan suite for a very long time. He's got 35 plus years in rental as a whole. He's actually started his career in rental way back when he was 19 years old, washing on the wash rack at a company while he's going to Arizona State University. So tons of experience in the industry. He's also got 20 plus years of experience with the RentalMan system itself. He's traveled all over the world implementing RentalMan with different customers. So he's got tons of experience, and we're glad to have him on today. Second person that we got on today is Elvis Asabi, who I'm sure many of you maybe had experience with in the past as well. He's been with us for a long time. He's got about 25 plus years in the rental industry himself. So another very experienced person. Actually owned his own party rental company with bouncy castles and things like that back in the day. So Pretty cool to have him on. He's got a ton of experience in the industry, and he's also got tons of experience with RentalMan itself, with 18 plus years of use with the RentalMan system. Last but not least, we have Leanne Jones joining us. So not quite as experienced as the rest, but definitely very experienced, especially compared to somebody like myself. She's got 12 plus years of experience in the rental industry, 10 plus years of experience with the RentalMan system. And I guess quick note, since we're doing quick notes on people, is she's a big Cheap Trick fan. So if you'd like to see karaoke recordings of that, go ahead and email us at marketing@winsystems.com. So keep that in mind. But looks like we got the polls answered here. I'll go ahead and end that before we jump into our agenda and everything. So few answers. Looks like there's a mix of different people here on don't know if you're using document distribution. Some people saying yes. We got some others that are not using custom emails today. Looks like that's the majority right now. And then along with that, good mix of, we don't have anybody that's under a year using the RentalMan system, right? But we got some good experience there, it looks like. And then last thing with AI, using it once in a while. So that's really good to see, right? So we'll jump into ChatGPT a little bit later, just very quickly, 2 to 3 minutes. And I'll show you something that we're doing there, give you guys some ideas on what you can do with the system there. So good to see, good stuff. Let's jump into agenda, right? So today on the agenda, see, the screen's working here. Yep. All right. So the agenda today, we're going to cover 4 points really, or 3 main points. We're going to talk about why customized communication, why that's important for you guys, why we want to talk about it today. We want to cover some benefits to that, to you and your company on that, right? And your customers. So we'll cover that. We'll also talk about some of RentalMan's capabilities when it comes to that. And then, as I said before, we'll jump out and I'll do, quick 2-3 minutes on how AI can help you with this specific, with personalized and customized communication with your customers. So we'll do a really quick jump out with that. Last thing, we'll just, again, Q&A. But again, if you have questions or ideas or comments or anything like that, go ahead and put them in the chat or raise your hand. And Robbie will point that out. So let's jump into it. So why customized communication? Why is this important? It might seem obvious. Maybe I don't need to answer this, right? But we'll talk about it. We found some good points here on why customized communication is important. There's 4 main things that we could at least think of. I'm sure there's more out there, but real quick, we'll go through them. Number 1, boilerplate emails get ignored, deleted, or caught in spam, right? So there's a lot of default emails that are set in systems like RentalMan. It's not even just the RentalMan system. There's other systems out there, right? If you're not customizing customizing and personalizing those emails, especially some of this stuff that we'll show you an example later of some of the defaults that are coming out of systems. But if you're not customizing that, putting a different subject line in it, it's going to get ignored, deleted. I'm sure we all get emails like that from your help desk or your team, whatever it might be. And you might be setting automated folders and things like that so that those emails immediately go into this, folder that never gets checked on and things like that. So we want to avoid that, especially when you're communicating with customers. So that's first point. Second point is documents not getting in the right hands. So we're talking a little bit about document distribution today. And along with that, some of the capabilities that RentalMan has in terms of sending the right documents to the right people with your documents. For example, if you have invoices that are going out to the AR department at a company, you want to make sure that gets into the right person's hands, right? Otherwise, it turns into delayed payments. It turns into your team having to go chase people down with phone calls and emails and spending all this time on stuff that could have been avoided if that document just went to the right person in the first place. So there's that. Number 3 is bad company perception. So it might seem like a small thing, but email is a way that you are communicating with your customers, right? So there's a face attached to emails when they come out to customers, right? So if you have regular default emails that have no personality, looks like a robot wrote it, right? There's no, help desk number or email or anything like that to support them if they have issues with what you just sent them. It seems very robotic. It seems like we don't really care, right? So again, it might seem like a small thing on the surface, but those things do add up over time. into your overall company perception. That can affect your competitive advantage and things like that inside your region or your area of operations for your rental operations, right? So, fourth thing, we already kind of pointed to it, but lost invoices don't get paid on time, right? So, the rental industry is a very cash focused business or focused industry, right? So we want to make sure that cash is coming in on time. It's the same for any business, really. So we already kind of pointed to it, but if the invoice documents and AR documents aren't going to the right people, they're not going to get paid. It's going to be delayed payments. If they get ignored, it's also going to be a delayed payment, things like that. So those are some quick points that we wanted to go through. But now that I've been talking for 5 minutes now, I'll let our RentalMan experts get on to what RentalMan can do here for you guys inside the system. So I'll hand it off to Jim. He's going to talk about XML and some of the back-end stuff and what that means for you guys as RentalMan users. So take it away, Jim.
Thank you, Ryan. Hello, everyone. So a couple of years ago here in the product team, we decided to undertake a project that would move us away from a text-based printing and with a software form overlay into a next generation of document delivery that you can define. We undertook this, A, to bring our technology more current, and to B, make sure that you had more control over what you were sending your customer. And if you wanted to change it, you didn't have to depend on us to make those changes for you. So what we moved to was XML printing. What the change was part of was what it consisted of is that we now output all of our documents to an XML format. XML is universal. Any software system can read it. It's generic format. And then we feed that XML into a secondary server, which applies a website style sheet over the top of that XML to produce an end document. So brought this whole technology into a style sheet programming. Style sheets are taught in every university virtually around the world. So you can find style sheet developers and you can develop your own style sheets if you need to. With that being said, as we've brought this forward, one of the bigger changes that we made was making sure you had the availability to deliver the information your customer needed in the invoice right away. So we're no longer at the point of one size fits all with one document type for everything. We can now define different documents for different output styles, and we can even define different documents on a customer by customer basis. So if you have that one-off special use case customer that you need specific information for that you're storing in RentalMan, information can be output into the XML, and then the style sheet that's specific to that customer can then be used to output a document that includes those special bits of information that customer requested. It will not affect any of the other documents out there. All the other documents will be standard, and now that customer can get the information they need right away to making sure that they have everything they need to approve and get that invoice paid right away. Again, why this matters to you, we want to make sure that we're delivering the right information. It's not one size fits all in this world anymore. We've got to be able to customize, and this allows us to customize and allows you to make those customizations if you so desire. All of this was made available approximately 2 years ago in release 12.20. So if you're not using it, please give us a call. We can help migrate you there, but we can move away from that standard forms. With that, I'm going to turn this over to Elvis and let him talk a little bit about the document distribution.
Yeah, thanks, Jerome. Good morning, everyone. Document distribution. So what is it? RentalMan has always had auto emailing capabilities. However, it was just limited to just one email entry per customer and to only transactions that were invoices. As the landscape of business dynamics has evolved, so have the expectations of our customers. Our customers now are wanting to store multiple email addresses and automatically send emails for different transaction types, not just invoices. In order to accommodate the need, we created document distribution. Basically, document distribution enables you as a customer to enter one or more email addresses for different transaction types, providing the freedom to set up records at both the customer and the job level, making it very flexible, unlike our traditional email, auto emailing capabilities. Let me illustrate the impact with a practical example. Suppose your customer's accounts receivable department wishes to receive all rental return invoices. With document distribution, you can easily set up this preference as a record, streamlining communications and potentially enhancing your customer relationship. At the same time, if there is a job supervisor that is requesting rental invoices for a specific job, the record can also be set up to automatically email the transaction for that job. In this example, there could be two different emails for the same transaction sent to two different contacts. It's also very versatile. Ryan, if you could go to the next slide. On the screen, we've listed several different transaction types, but currently we have around 30 transaction types that can be set up in document distribution, including at least one standard RentalMan report. And this helps customize your communications to match the specifics of your business and your customers' needs. As a final note, document distribution setup can be found in the customer master maintenance, as well as the file maintenance, making it a little more flexible in terms of access as well. With that said, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Leanne Johns.
Thanks, Elvis. Just going back to what Ryan had mentioned earlier is like, why do we personalize or customize emails or communication? You know, everybody receives an abundance of emails on a daily basis. I mean, some could be spam, which go to your spam folder automatically, and some really just get glossed over, thinking it could be spam based off of the subject line of the subject of the email. So to avoid that, we do have the ability to customize your subject line as well as the body of the email. This hopefully could reduce those types of incidents where your emails are being deleted, disregarded, or just, not opened. So this could ultimately get you payment quicker on time, basically. If that was an email or an invoiced email that you're sending out. This also can enhance your company image. You want to stand out from the crowd. You don't want to be that average Joe. Here you can actually add prompts here, as you can see on the screen, the subject text. So it pulls in the data of your customer name, the transaction number, those particular pieces of information. Additionally, with the body text, you can customize that to be a little bit more personable, add some flavor to it for your company image, as we had mentioned earlier, is that you can have a personal touch, maybe your company motto. Again, here we've listed an email address as well as a telephone number. So in case you really need to get in touch with somebody at that organization or where that email came from, we have that assistance right on hand. Instead of it just being a generic email, you can actually personalize it a little bit more. There is some limitation to characters in the subject and body, but I'm sure there's plenty of space for you to achieve what you need to. We've got about 80 characters in your subject text title, as well as 320 characters in the body text. So a generic email, generally before any type of customization or personalization internally, you've got your rental out, you've got your agreement number with a small text saying, please see attached. That certainly doesn't give you much information. You could think that that's spam. You could think of anything like other than what you actually need it to say. So this one, in case is a rental out, where it's your rental agreement, not a particular invoice. However, similar style, once you customize it, we can see the changes that it could make within your inbox. You could see that XYZ Rentals, hey, I've been waiting for that. Maybe the AR department is aware that they're waiting for a specific agreement or some sort of invoice that they're anticipating from this rental company. So they're not going to gloss that over. They're not going to delete it. They're going to action it. with a nice personalized message. Please find attached a copy of your rental agreement. If you should have any questions, we can be reached at by email or by calling. Thank you for your business. So nice little personal touch, a spin on that, just to give it some extra flair. And again, you can customize that to whatever your company needs might be. So stand out in the crowd.
All right, thanks, Leanne, or thanks, guys. So we just went through some of the capabilities that RentalMan has to offer, right? So there's all kinds of great stuff with different documents that you can send to customers, different, email personalization that you can put in with different kinds of fields that you can enter. And all of that takes some thinking, right? So how do we want to present ourselves to customers? And how do we want to present our rental agreements? How should we present our quotes? What should be included in that? Should we have our phone number, a specific phone number, a specific email, right? So there's all kinds of questions to consider with that. There's a very large scope of different things and different kinds of customization that you can do with RentalMan. So really at the end of the day, I mean, this could turn into a very large project if you don't have it set up inside of RentalMan. So I wanted to jump out real quick, and there's actually AI is a great way to introduce some time savings on a large project like that if you decide to take it on, right? So I want to jump out real quick and just show you, 2 to 3 minutes here on a conversation that we had with ChatGPT and what the capabilities of just ChatGPT are. It's a free thing. You don't have to pay for it unless you go to ChatGPT 4, right? But there's a free version of it that can very much handle what we're about to show you. So let me hop out of the system here and then show you a second. My other screen. All right. Can you see my screen, Jim?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, the highlight wasn't showing up. So, okay. But here's a quick example of a conversation that we had with ChatGPT, right? So it's a longer prompt, but the longer the prompts and the more detailed the prompts, the better information is going to be included in what ChatGPT pumps out for you, right? So what we did here is we asked it to, we work for a rental company called XYZ Rents. I'm building an email template, and basically it's a rental quote email template, but I also want to include variables. So I want you to use this field from RentalMan with the $ custom name. We want to use that in replacement for the customer's company name, right? So we use that. We also include some other variables such, we tell it where to include that variable in the subject line, in the body. We want you to include it here or there, right? And then on top of it, rather than having it just come up with one example, you could replace this number with 5, 10 different email templates to go off of, right?
Hey, Ryan, we want to quickly jump in there. We did get a question coming from Laurent. Is there a possibility to customize emails sent to sub-haulers with the details of the load?
Right now, we have document distribution based on vendor. So not only do we have document distribution for customer, but we have it on vendor. So when you cut a PO to a specific vendor, we can identify where that PO goes. And then, of course, when you're creating that, convert to the XML printing, the prompt at the end says, here are the document distributions that are standard setup. And you can always add additional emails in at that point also. So POs can be sent to vendors, and you can customize, you can do further manual updates to that at the time the PO is being generated. I hope that answers the question.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, thanks, Jim. And thanks for the question. Again, we want to make it an open environment, so go ahead and ask questions. We'll have a Q&A shortly, but yeah, that's great. So again, it came up with 3 templates for us. We entered a desk email and a helpline, right? And it actually very quickly, within 5 seconds of me entering this in, comes out and pulls out 3 different email templates to go off of. So again, you can copy, if this looks good, you can copy and paste this, and it's a huge time savings, right? It took you maybe 2 minutes to come up with a prompt like this and play around with the prompt a little bit. And then on top of it, 5 seconds for the thing to come up with an actual email for you to copy and paste. Or if you want to copy elements of it, you can do that. So this is a great way to introduce a little bit of time savings in a larger project. If you are looking at taking this on and maybe introducing, custom emails and document distribution to your customer base, and maybe, doing a crawl, walk, run type scenario with different documents, starting with, higher volume documents at first, and then we go into lower volume ones or something like that. Great way to save time. It took, when we were showing you those customization examples there at the last 2 slides, our team was sitting, and it took us, a good, 5 minutes to customize that, add it in, type it out, and all that stuff, and ideate on what we wanted to say, how we want it to look, and things like that, right? So, and that was just a very basic, simple thing. So it's a great way to have some time savings in that situation. So there's that as something to think about in the future for you guys. Let me jump back into our PowerPoint here. So basically we can go to Q&A. If there's any questions. I think we had something pop up in the chat there, right? Robbie?
Yep, that was the question that Jim answered.
Okay, great. Sorry, my screen's playing with me a little bit here.
Can I interrupt here just for a quick minute, guys? I just wanted to qualify. You do not have to have XML printing for the document distribution and the email to overrides to work. What we are presenting is the XML printing gives you another way to customize invoices to make that communication to your customer more specific. If you have existing forms type printing going on, you can still use the other 2 pieces without having XML printing. So, okay, Ryan, back to you. Sorry, I just want to clarify that because I think that's very important.
Yeah, great. Good note. So, Robbie, anything else in the chat there? Or anybody raising their hand?
Let's see. Another question here. Is there a way to add links to the PDF generated? So, meaning the PDF attachment is generated in that email.
The PDF attachment isn't included in the email. We do not have a link to that PDF. No, it's just we to copy the PDF into the document itself, into the email. Sorry, into the email.
All right. Hope that answers the question. Anything else, Robbie?
A little more to expand on that. I believe links inside the PDF attachment. So when you actually were to open the PDF attachment, is there a way to put links in that PDF that's generated?
When I'm creating the style sheet overlay, or for the overlay of the XML data, style sheet programming can be, it's very, very dynamic, and I can include web links into that. I can include all kinds of things, and they become active in a PDF that I'm looking on the screen. Of course, they'll be underlined when they print to a printer. So yes, within the style sheet itself, I can add tons of things in there. I do not have a way to output a link into well, yes, we do. Never mind. I'm thinking about it now. If you had specific notes with links in it or comments that were standardized in your forms that are created, yes, those links could be output through into that PDF. Yes, there's multiple ways to do that. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim. I think that satisfied the answer there.
All right. Looks like we got one more.
That was it.
Okay, perfect. Again, if you guys have questions, think of something after, we're more than happy to bring that up or address that with you. So feel free to reach out to us. But thank you for joining again today. I got a couple more quick notes. If you'd like to stick around, really quickly wanted to. We're looking for ways to connect with you guys as customers or even prospects, right? So we're looking at new ways to do that throughout 2024. And if you haven't yet, just wanted to really quick tell you about the newsletter that we have going on. So this has been going out for the last couple months now. So if you are not getting these updates, These are really great to keep up with. We have interesting articles. Last month we talked about tips for DSO. Is a very, it's a pretty lengthy article. It could almost be a guide. It's got some RentalMan tips in there as well as ChatGPT and how you could use that with reducing DSO with your rental company, right? So there's interesting articles like that we're producing. There's also routine product roadmap updates. So I'm going through talking with our product team, right, and making sure that we're staying on schedule. And there's a product roadmap update in every single one of these newsletters. More things on these things are upcoming events and webinars. So we'll be at ARA. That's another mention in there, as well as webinars. I'll get onto that, but we're actually trying to do these every month, right? So we'll have another webinar next month in February toward the end of the month. So I'll talk about that a little bit, but these are some examples of some of the stuff that's in the newsletter. So if you like to get signed up for that, you can scan this QR code. If you're not comfortable scanning the QR code for whatever reason, or it's not working on your phone or something like that, go ahead and email us. If you don't want to email a certain person, email marketing@winsystems.com. We can definitely look at getting you signed up for this stuff. So keep that in mind. Second thing is we got, like I mentioned, we're trying to do monthly RentalMan webinars as part of this effort to better connect with you guys, right? So we want to get conversations going. We want to talk about things that you are interested in or you have questions on with the system, maybe not even the system. So for example, next month, we're actually going to be highlighting, we're working on a webinar as well as some other content on software user adoption best practices. So I think this is something that a lot of companies, if not every company, struggles with at some point, is getting their people, especially operations people and stuff, to use the software that you're investing in. So it's a very important topic. We're going to highlight it next month. Along with that, topics like that, we're also going to be talking about software hidden gems like we just did today. So there's plenty of there. If you went to the summit session, we'll probably be expanding on some of those and maybe a few more that you haven't heard about yet. So keep that in mind. New solutions and features, something really cool comes out, or you guys have a lot of questions on a specific thing that's coming out for a specific solution that we have, that we can definitely highlight that on a webinar. Right? So go ahead, scan that QR code if you like to get on those, to go to the events page and sign up for the next webinar. Again, you can email us at that marketing@winsystems.com, or somebody here at WinSystems would be more than happy to sign you up for that or send you the link. Last thing is we have a survey coming out as well for the webinar that we just did today, right? So this is our first webinar of 2024. It's the first one we've done in a while. So we want to make sure that we're catering to what you guys want to talk about and answering your questions, and it's in a format that you find enjoyable, right? So we're trying to make this not so much just talking to you, but in a classic webinar sense, but we want to make it an open discussion, right? So there's a survey coming out that will let us know how we did. If it was the greatest you've ever been on, then we want to hear about it, right? If it's the worst webinar that you've ever been on, then I guess you can say that, and we'll take it into consideration too. But with that being said, keep an eye on your inbox. Fill out that survey. It really helps us cater to what you guys want to talk about, and cater the format and everything like that. So keep an eye on your inbox and fill that out for us if you could. With that being said, I think we'll call it a wrap. We're right at the 35-minute mark, I think. So if there's no other questions, then I think we can call it a wrap and call it a day. So thank you very much for joining, spending time with us today. Looking forward to next month.